control channel. What are the well-known port addresses for FTP? Yes, 20 and 21. 21 for the control channel and 20 for the data channel. Let us talk about SMTP, that is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It is an application layer protocol and it is a simple text based protocol where the message can be sent to one or more recipients. The details are described in RFC 8.1. RFC is recommended for comments. These are the memorandums for internet technologies in various protocols, and they are believed to be one of the most trustworthy documents. Like whenever in doubt, you don't know that what information is available on the internet is true, then you may refer to RFC. There will be various types of them, whether experimental, standard, or expired trick, and accordingly you can know the status of that. So SMTP is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol at the application layer, which is used for sending emails. It is a push type of protocol which is used to send email, and to receive email, POP3 or IMAP will be used. Those are the POP type of protocols. POP3 or IMAP will be used to receive the email, and SMTP for sending email. And afterwards, SMTP is just for the text. So we have MIME as well, multi-purpose internet mail extensions, which is developed to send multi-purpose files. So very simply, we can say that the SMTP client would be there. Then we don't know how many routers would be there. There will be subnet internet, and then SMTP server will be there, where your data will be delivered. Now, whenever the user wants to read email, at that time, POP or IMAP will come into the picture. We are not getting into details of how the messages will be exchanged and all that. Those are the well-known series, like first hello message will be sent, then this message will be sent, and this is how the mails will be exchanged. The header would be there, then text body would be there, etc. But those details are much mechanical, and there is nothing to actually understand in that. Those are just the steps which will be followed. So actually, I would like you to now, so we have covered the syllabus. Madam is covering some of the topics of application layer, and rest of the things we have covered. I want you to very quickly answer some of the questions and try to recall that. Okay? So read the question and please answer it, so we can check how much have you understood or remembered the subject, and whether you are awake right now or not. Wait, where is the window? Yeah. Can you see the question on the screen? So these are general questions from any of the topic. It is not so that they are from others. Anyone can answer it. So all of you think that is true? Okay. What is the answer now? Okay. What is the answer now? Yes, that is true. Okay. And if I say here UDP, if I replace this by UDP, then what is the answer? One, two, four. Okay. So 1 and 2 you are certainly right. 4 is also there. What about 5? Check the 5. Check 5. Is it there or not? There are only 4 fields. Please check and let me know whether 5 is there. What is UDP length? Is it written as UDP length? Length. Okay. So everyone, 7 of course would be there. But please remember that any protocol which is at the transport layer would be using source port address and destination port address. Anyway, so now again I'm changing it to the original one here. And let us go for the next question now. So this is the frame which you have to send. The generator polynomial is given. You have to find out what frame will be transmitted. Can you tell me which topic it is related to? This question. CRC. Very nice. Yes, Prince and Dev. Well done. So can you quickly solve this? Please try to solve this. And let me know whenever it is done. Do not write the answer so that others, if they are doing that, will not, they'll not be distracted. But please let me know whenever you get the remainder. When you get the remainder, let me know. So can I ask you the starting point? How many zeros will you append? Yes, you will append 3 zeros at the end. Yes. Yes, Prince, that is true. And I hope everyone is doing correctly so we can cross verify from each other. So here actually I have given you like this because I wanted you not to be confused. So I have made your job easier. But even if question is this, I'm sure you will realize that it means the same thing. If I give you x raised to 3 plus x plus 1, then also you are going to write polynomial as 1011. Yes? How many of you are doing this? Okay. Okay, fine. Those who have done, well done. Others, please keep doing and try to do it in 1 minute. Chandresh, what answer have you got? Okay, fine. Yash, can you tell me what is your answer? Mm, okay. So is your remainder 110? Are you getting in the remainder 110? I mean, sorry, 100? Is your remainder 100? What about others? Are you getting this or something else? Priyank is also getting that, Prince. Okay, fine. And all of you, Keval, Priyank, Prince, Devansh, Sagar, have you verified at the receiver that when this is received, the remainder is 0? Have you cross verified that? Fine. Uh, if you would have done that, you would have realized that it would be 0. If one of the bits is corrupted, then it would be non-zero. So, is anyone is having question? Then we can solve it. Otherwise, I think this is fairly simple. So now let us go for an even simpler question. This one. Can you answer this? Yes, that is C. That is C. Okay, fine. Now read this carefully and answer it. That was correct. All of you were right. Answer the next one. Yes. So here the common mistake which people do is the moment they look electronic email, they jump to SMTP. But here we have to see that it is asked that which is name of the protocol at the transport layer which supports this. So C is the correct answer. That is true. If here it was network layer, then what would you answer? Right, Dev. True. Yes, all of you are right. And if I say just what is name of the protocol which is used to support electronic email, if the question is just that, what is name, then you will go for A. Fine. So good that you are attentive and awake. Now this we haven't done exactly, but being a 6th semester computer engineering student, I think you'll be able to answer this. Take 1 minute and answer it. Can you see the next question? Okay, fine. Come on. What did I say? See, remember this. Please look at this line. Users typically use a program that uses SMTP for sending email and either POP3 or IMAP for receiving email. So that would make C a correct option, isn't it? SMTP to send, to download POP3, and in the browser we are going for HTTP. FTP is used to transfer a file. And when I say transfer a file, you realize that we are copying file from client to server or server to client. Both the ways it is possible. But that is just copying file or transfer of the file. So C would be the correct option in this one. Is it okay with us? Even if it was IMAP here, still you will go for C. Okay. And if it was, SMTP in one and MIME in another one, and if it is written something like the email is image based, then you will opt for MIME and not SMTP. This is simple mail transfer protocol. SMTP is just text based. If there is video or image coming into the picture, then we will go for MIME. And POP3 and IMAP, either of them will be used to download the email, fetch the email. Now, this I think we have done earlier as well, but still I would like to do it in case if we haven't. Yes, it is used to prevent packet looping. You are right. Can you please answer this one? I don't want to show you all the questions together because I want you to be with me. I'm not giving you options is this one, options in this one, because I would rather want you to think. How many departments do we need here? 64. So 64 subnets will be there. So accordingly, you can take some of the bits from host ID for the network ID, and then you can try to find it. I'll wait, don't worry. Please write out your answer once you got it. Okay, can you tell me in class B, what will be the default subnet mask? Yes, 255, 255, 255, 0.0. Okay. I would rather prefer this note, this 255.255.0.0, because we are talking about classes. If we're talking about CIDR, then we can go for the notation of how many bits are there. So when you are going for subnetting, then will number of bits increase in the host ID or decrease from the network ID? Like here currently we have first 16 ones and then 16 zeros. First 16 ones are the network address, and then 16 zeros are for the host register, because it will be. Are you getting what I'm saying? So I'm asking actually that in supernetting, are we taking bits from the host and converting into subnet ID, or we do the other way around, that some of the bits from the subnet ID will be taken and used for the host? Okay, is subnetting done in the class? Is supernetting done in the class? Subnetting and supernetting. It is like we have 6th division. I'm in 6th semester. Now in 6th semester, we want to go for 2 divisions. So what do? We have 6A and 6B. Are you calling 6C and D or A and B? How are your divisions named? A and B or C and D? You don't know? Okay. Okay, C and D. Yes, it used to be C and D from the time I have joined. I don't know why it was C and D, but now it is A and B. At least in the first year, those who have started, it is A and B. These are the 2 divisions. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, if we are going to assign like 8-digit number to all of you for the unique identity, we are assigning 8-digit number to all the students. I think 8-digit will be sufficient, isn't it? How many? You are 180 students. So how many will 7-digit be sufficient? If we are 180 students and we have to go for binary number, will 7 digits be sufficient? No. So we'll have to go for 8, right? So I'm going for 8-bit number. So I'm saying that the first student should be having 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. The second student will be having 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. The third student in the alphabetical order, we are going for this. Okay. But now I also want one division. And what division, what distinction I want? I want that I should be able to know by looking at the identity whether it is in class C or class D, division C or D. So what I'm saying, that first bit I'm assigning to the division. That if it is division C, then I'm saying that the highest bit, most significant bit will be 0. And if it is division D, then I'm saying that the most significant bit will be 1. So what I'm doing, out of this 8, I'm taking 1 bit and that I'm assigning to this. So in class C, the numbers will be like this. In class D, they'll be like this. Are you with me? So this is to recognize, the first bit is to recognize the division and then the roll number. Now if I wanted to go for 4 divisions, if I wanted to go for 4 divisions in 6 semester, we are saying that we want to go for 4 division, like each of 45 or something like that. So in that case, will this 1 bit be sufficient? Most significant bit, 2 bits will be required, right? So we can say that out of these bits, 2 bits will be taken to represent the division and 6 bits will be for the roll number or the identity. So actual identity is entire one, like division and the number. Similarly, here we are talking about subnet and then the host identity would be there. But currently, because we are talking about subnet mask, the host bits will be 0. So if it is 64 departments, how many bits will you need to represent those many departments? If you want 64 subnets, how many bits will you require? 6. So what will you do? You said that default it would be 255, 255, 00. Or if you want me to write it, is it 4? Okay. If you don't write, I'll have to write. So I would request you to write so that I'll be saved from the burden of writing. Okay. So that was the default one. Now you said the 6 will be required. So I was asking, is the 6 bits be 0 or the 6 zeros will be 1? For subnetting, are we taking bits from the host or are we taking bits from the network ID? That is what I was asking. So you will go for can you tell me what this would be? Yes, 255, 255, 252.0. આવો આન્સર જોઈતો હતો મારે. Now if I say that we want 30 departments, then what would be the answer? I don't know whether C would be the answers. Yeah, okay. Yes, Shubham, these are not the correct ones. I have just copied it like here. Yes, it will be. If it is 30 departments, okay. So now, do you know what is supernetting? Kind of reverse of this. Like we have internally 2 divisions. But now we don't want our divisions, we are combining them, we are merging them. Then yes, when we are combining the classes, at that time supernetting is done. Like you don't want smaller hierarchy anymore, and if you are combining a network, then you will go for supernetting. But most of the time that is not how it is done. We will be going for the subnetting only. In the real life, subnetting would be more frequently used. Supernetting would be rarely used in some specific applications. So if it is merging, then it is supernetting. If it is dividing, then it is subnetting. Now, this we have done on Monday only. Do you remember this? A and B. You are at least 50% right. C and D will not be the answer. So that was a smart guess. ARP, Address Resolution Protocol. What do we have and what do we want to find? It resolves which address from which address? દેવ, પ્રિન્સ, દીપ, દેવાંશ, પ્રીત. સારું છે તમે બધા ઘરે છો, અહીંયા હોય તો કદાચ હું તમને મારત. એઆરપી શું કરે? Tell me the job of ARP. આપણે શું કથા કરી હતી? It sends the request. Request is broadcasted. What the request is? Whose IP address is this? That is what will be broadcasted. And the reply will be unicasted. What the reply would be? That this is my IP address and this is the corresponding MAC address. So once you have IP address, it converts your IP address into MAC address. And how do you have your IP address? From DNS. You use DNS when you write www.ddu.se.in. Then you have your IP address, and then from IP address you find out the MAC address. So finding MAC address corresponding to which corresponds to an IP address. So the correct answer would be B. Why were you confused? Does it find IP address from the MAC address? Which protocol does that? Finds IP address from the MAC address for its own computer. Which protocol will be helpful? Yes, RARP, or we can say DHCP. It will be used at that point of time. When you have to find the IP address corresponding to your MAC address, then DHCP or BootP or RARP will be used. But when you have IP address and when you want to find MAC address or when you want to find physical address, then ARP will be used. Okay. Saru, chalo. What about this one? True. DNS. Because when we say address, then we are talking about 3 addresses: physical address, MAC address, or port address. DNS does not convert one address to another address. It does not resolve that. So the answer would be that. Now I want all of you to answer this correctly. Can you answer this correctly? Yes, we have just talked about that here. Yes, we have talked about that here only. That is ARP. That is true. Now you will be a bit careful and answer this to me. goes without saying that you will not try to find any help to get the answer. That is not important. We want to get the answer from our mind by using logical inferences of what we have learned so far. So what do you think is the correct answer? See, that is true. That first, without knowing the IP address, will you be able to go for HTTP or DNS or HTTP or TCP? If you don't have IP address, you will not be able to do that. So first and fourth options get eliminated because of that. Because unless DNS is used, you don't know IP address of the receiver. And if you don't know that, you will not be able to send it. So this two will come. Now let us look here. First HTTP get request and then TCP SYN. SYN means TCP connection establishment. Or first TCP connection establishment and then something request at the HTTP. We know that HTTP uses TCP at the transport layer. So which one of this do you think is more likely, 2 or 3? Okay, without establishing connection, if first you are going to go for HTTP get request, then will you establish connection after that? That is what you are suggesting? This is like sending some sort of data, isn't it? And this is the TCP connection request. So any protocol which uses TCP cannot bypass the steps of TCP. And which are the steps of TCP? First, establish the connection, three-way handshaking, transfer the data, acknowledge each of the segment, and then close the connection. So by thinking like this, what do you think should be the answer? 2 or 3? 3. Yes, it should be 3. Because first, we will have to establish TCP connection for the further communication. Once connection is established, then only we will be able to go for, sending message from the upper layer to the other application layer. Like the message transfer will come into the picture after connection is established. And HTTP GET request is a message for the transport layer. For transport layer, it is a message. So that will be able to send after only establishing successful TCP connection. So 3 would be the answer. I hope there is no confusion in this. Is it okay now? Fine. Now we haven't talked about firewall because you already know more than what is scope in the syllabus. No, it knows the data is to be sent. Aditya, it knows the data is to be sent. Application layer has already given data at the transport layer. At the transport layer, once TCP sender receives data from the upper layer, what it will do? It will establish the connection and then send this data. So see, which of the following packets are transmitted on the network by a host? Like not in the order in which they are generated. Is it okay? Yes. So they are transmitted on the network like this, that first DNS query, then we will establish connection, and then we have buffered already HTTP GET request from the application layer at the transport layer. Once the connection is successfully established, quickly we will be sending in the TCP segment. Okay, so this firewall, you already know more than what is in the scope of this subject. So I have not talked about this. But I think you should be able to answer this. Read this carefully, think for a moment and then tell me. No, No, firewall can be at any layer actually. Firewall can be at the application layer. Firewall can be at the transport layer. It can be at the network layer. But when I say packet filtering firewall, that is a giveaway. When I say packet, then I mean it is at the network layer. But if it is just a firewall, then it could be at any layer. શું લાગે છે તમને? Which one is that? The fourth one, right? That is true. How did you say that? Can you tell me? Why did you opt for the fourth one? Because see, if I say FTP, then that is at the application layer. Being a packet filtering firewall, being at the network layer, I'll not know what that is. Viruses and worms, etc. It is not much relatable. And accessing a service, when I say accessing a service, then probably I mean HTTP or FTP or something like that. And for that, port address will come into the picture. While blocking some host from accessing the network, that means how do we block that? By using the IP address. And IP address is an entity of the network layer. So a packet filtering firewall should be able to do that. Now, this is more related to memory, but still, let us try it. Okay, and I'm giving you options as well to give you some sort of hints. You are saying R. What is R? What is PPP? Tell me what is PPP? Yes, for one it is B. Yes, Yash. Yash is right. Application layer is DHCP. IEEE. See, we are a bit confused here about this. Yes. PPP you might not be aware of because we haven't talked about that. But had you opened the book, you would have realized that is point-to-point protocol. So actually, whatever we have talked about, this go back and select to repeat or stop and wait protocol, those are point-to-point protocols. Because network data link layer deals between 2 points. So those protocols which are used in transferring data between 2 points, those are point-to-point protocols, PPP, in a way. I mean, not exactly that, but currently we can keep it that. And you're confused a bit about IEEE 802.3 and other standards because nowadays in the TCP/IP protocol suite, physical layer and data link layer are merged. So the functionalities are blurred. It would be difficult to exactly place it. But do you remember which one is this? IEEE 802.3 standard. Which standard is that? (802.3) Ethernet. Yes, Ethernet. Yes. So in a way, it should be in a hint. Like if you know that it is Ethernet, then you also know that At the data link layer, we go for framing, and framing will be of 1500 bytes maximum if the standard Ethernet is used, because our underlying hardware does not support that. That is what we used to say, that because our hardware limitations would be there, due to hardware restrictions, we go for framing. So when I say hardware restrictions, that is more on the physical layer. I hope that made some sense. So physical layer is with the Ethernet, application layer is DHCP, data link layer is PPP, and do not bother about session layer because it is obsolete in that. But by looking at these options, you should be able to, find out. Now, the next one. Which one should I give so that quickly? Okay, can you try this? Can you try this one? Find out statement or statements from this which are not correct. Doesn't it describe, Priyank? HTTP, doesn't it describe structure of the web page, like how the structure should be? Have you run HTTP in any of the subject? Okay, fine. I was actually wondering whether I should have given you this, but I thought you had learned that and you would be able to answer it. So how about this one you would keep in the assignment, and let us go for the last one. Okay, let it be like this only. We know that checksum is computed at every router and it changes at every router. Why? That is what some of the options are given, that which fields contribute in changing of the there are 4 options given. Did you understand the question? I think it is pretty simple. Have you understood the question? Okay. So examine one by one and eliminate, and then see whether anyone is standing here, with whether anyone is correct for the criteria. Why B, Ronak? Will data change at every router? And before that, the question is, data may change. Why will data change? Ronak, why will data change at the routers? Or when we are sending data from the transport layer to network layer, and then data link layer at the sender, and then they'll be traveling. So there are 2 questions actually. One question, will data change? And second, even if data change, does it affect our IP checksum? These are the 2 things which you need to ponder about. I hope you are here. You are listening to me, Ronak. Are you? So everyone, let us try to discuss this and try to sort out this. The IP checksum, does it include data, or that is just over the header? It is just over the header. That means even if data changed, it would not have mattered. But now let us make it clear as well. Will data change on transit? Can data change on transit? Yes and no. This is not actually a question which you can answer in binary. If the data is corrupted on the way, then yes, it would be changed, that way. But you will not append anything in the data on the transit. At the network layer, whatever was the data, you're not going to, change the data as in to add something in the actual data or remove something from the data. It will not happen. However, if fragmentation is done, then you can say that data is in the smaller chunks, or if there is some bits changed, then data would be changed. Anyway, so which is the correct option? What did you say? Everyone, I don't want to scroll. Can you again tell me? A, B, C, or D? Which is the correct option according to you? We are computing IP checksum at every router, recomputing rather, because this of the fields can be changed. A, B, C, or D? Quickly. A TOS, that is type of service. Will type of service be different? Once source has chosen type of service, is there any scope in changing that? No, it will not change. So C is an option. Aditya, actually in C, if you look at this, everyone, TTL we know will change. Options can change. How options can change? Like if you are going for record route option, then in the first router, only one IP address of the router will be there. In the second one, two IP addresses will be there. In the third one, third will be appended and so on. Identification field, that can change. Like when the splitting is done, fragmentation is done, then identification field would be there. Then datagram length, because if there is fragmentation, it will change. Fragment offset can change and more fragment can change. So all these fields are likely to change whenever fragmentation is taking place or under under certain circumstances. Type of service will not change and data is not included in the checksum. So A and B are eliminated. In C, all of these are there. Had I inserted here, let us say, identity is same in the, like if fragmentation is done, then in all the 4 fragments, same identification field will be there, Priyank. But if one of the fragment is further going for a path, and in that path again fragmentation is to be taken place, then new fragment identity number will be given, identification will be given, which will be in all those fragments. And originally, like the original source might not have fragmented. So at that time, okay, that is clear. Now tell me, which is the correct option? If I change it like this, come on. Now you cannot say that C is the correct option. Now D, because source IP address should not change, right? Source IP address will never change. So if I include it here, then none of the above would be the correct one. But anyway, in this scenario, C is the correct option. So that's it. If you have any doubt, you can write me email or we'll go for one more lecture or session to solve your doubts. If you want me to cover something specific, you can tell me, we will do that as well. But otherwise, our syllabus is completed and we will have no more lecture of my portion. So all the best. Feel free to approach me by emails, or if required in the next week, we can go for one class in which we'll be talking about your doubts. Any doubt for today's session? Okay, thank you.